One of the things I love most about the blogging space is its ability to spark conversation, and this is what I'm hoping this will be now. The other day, I was reading a blog post from a good friend of mine, Jenny Ingram. She's over at Jenny on the Spot, and she asked the question, do you allow sleepovers? And before I read the entire post, I thought, why, yes, I do. My children have been going to sleepovers since they were 5. They've been having kids over since they were 5. Right now, my daughter's almost 8 and my son is about to turn 6. And certainly we are intentional about who we allow over and where we allow our kids to go, but we have a very close group of friends. But it's a pretty large, close group of friends. It started with neighbors, and it has expanded to our school because our kids attend a private school, and everyone that our kids spend time with on sports teams, in their classrooms, the people that they are spending the night with are people that, the families that we know quite well. But it's a fairly large group. My daughter had a sleepover for her birthday 2 years in a row, and we had 10 and 12 girls here. And everyone that we asked said yes to coming to her party, even 2 years ago. So for her 7th birthday and for her 6th birthday, there wasn't a hesitation to coming to our house, and I wouldn't have hesitated to allow her to go to a sleepover at that time because we do know these families quite well. We spend time with them on the sidelines at sports. We spend time with them at church events. We spend time with them in and out of the classroom. We spend time with them when we're hanging out after games. We barbecue together. So certainly we are careful about who we spend time with as a family, but it never occurred to me or to my husband to restrict sleepovers. Both my husband and I enjoyed them as kids. Now, reading Jenny's post, Jenny is very intentional, has a very small, close group of friends, a very tight circle of trust, she said, but isn't overly comfortable with the idea of sleepovers. And when I read the post a couple of days ago, I have to admit I was a little bit surprised at how many parents wanted to ban the notion of sleepovers. They don't like them at all. They're very uncomfortable with them. And, when I went back today, it was almost 30 comments deep before someone said, hey, I'm okay with them. And Jenny responded, and I thought it seemed to be really indicative of the way the comments were going. That parents who had positive experiences as a child seemed to be less fearful of them, but parents who, as children, had poor experiences as a child with sleepovers, whether they were at someone's house and the parents behaved inappropriately, or they knew of someone who had had a dangerous or a very unfortunate experience as a child, are far less likely to be comfortable with their children spending the night at someone's house. I sat and talked to a bunch of my girlfriends last night because I was so intrigued by Jenny's post and because I didn't realize that there were so many parents who were so hesitant, because I seem to be surrounded by so many parents who are okay with the notion of sleepovers. And this is why, again, I love the idea of this being a conversation. And I was asking my girlfriends whether or not they have ever been hesitant about sleepovers, and they seem to fall into the same camp I do, which I suppose makes sense because their children are constantly back and forth at my house and mine are at their house. So I wanted to ask you, because I wanted to continue this conversation, how do you feel about sleepovers? Are you very restrictive? Do you ban them? And how do you have that conversation with your kids? Because I certainly know that sleepovers in our world seem to be quite prevalent, and I did see that in the comments quite a bit. Why are sleepovers so prevalent? Why are our kids constantly being asked? It seems to me that they were prevalent when I was a kid too. So it doesn't seem to me that they are any more prevalent now than they were, but I'm curious. What do you think? What do you think about the sleepover? And you can always head over to Jenny's website to continue the conversation online there as well. And she's at jennyonthespot.com.